Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. So some Social Security beneficiaries are facing a cut of up to $17,400. Yes, you heard that right. $17,400 cut from what they're currently receiving in their benefits if something isn't done to save the program. We're going to be discussing why and a couple of different solutions to this. But before we go ahead and dive into the main content of today's video, if you wouldn't mind helping me out real quickly by just giving this video a like, that just helps out with the good old YouTube algorithm, and also consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already. Okay, so with the 2024 presidential election coming up, we're going to have debates coming up very soon. We're going to know who their Republican candidate is. Most likely it is going to be Donald Trump once again facing off against Joe Biden, so that should be an interesting rematch. But right now at the moment, both candidates are pledging not to touch Social Security. And while you normally might think that's a good thing, that we should have our hands off of Social Security, well, what that would mean if we don't do anything about it, if we don't touch it at all, is that unfortunately some beneficiaries are going to receive a cut of up to $17,400 if nothing is done about this. And this is according to the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget. So according to them, as the 2024 presidential campaign ramps up, candidates are facing pressure to pledge not to touch Social Security. While this pledge is framed as protecting benefits, it is in reality an implicit endorsement of a 23% across-the-board benefit cut in 2033 when the Social Security Retirement Fund becomes insolvent. In that year, annual benefits would be cut by $17,400 for a typical newly retired dual income couple. The winner of the 2024 presidential election will face a Social Security trust fund rapidly approaching insolvency. The program's trustees project that the Old Age and Survivors Insurance Trust Fund will deplete its reserves by 2033, when today's 57-year-olds reach the normal retirement age and today's youngest retirees turn 72. Upon insolvency, the law mandates that the OASI trust fund can only spend in amounts equal to incoming trust fund revenue, which means that all 70 million retirees, dependents, and survivors, regardless of age, income, or need, will see their benefits cut by 23%. For a typical dual income couple retiring in 2033, we estimate this would represent an immediate $17,400 cut in current dollar annual benefits and an immediate $13,100 cut for a typical single income couple. So basically what they're saying here, right now we have money coming into the trust fund that you pay in payroll tax. So out of each paycheck that you receive, you're paying anywhere between 6.2 to 12.4%, depending whether or not you're self-employed or whether you're an employee. And then whenever money comes into the trust fund, you pay money out from the trust fund to people receiving Social Security benefits. And if there's an excess amount in the trust fund that you don't have to pay out to beneficiaries, then that extra money is invested in U.S. Treasuries, where you're going to gain anywhere between, let's say, like 1 to 3%. But at a certain point in time, we're not going to have this excess amount that we can then invest in Treasuries. So at that point, we're just relying on money that people are paying from their payroll taxes to the trust fund, and then that will immediately be kicked back to beneficiaries. But at a certain point in time, we're not going to have enough money coming into the trust fund to pay out the full benefits, and that's why we're going to have this cut of anywhere between 20 to 25%, most likely somewhere right in the 23 to 24% range. So you can see the chart up on the screen there of how much you can expect to have reduced from your Social Security check, depending whether or not you're a low income couple, a medium income couple, or a high income couple or individual. The blue there is if you're a single income couple, and then the orange is if you are a dual income couple. So you can see that it really varies there depending on your income, but it's going to impact people, across the board. And unfortunately, I really think it's going to end up hurting the low income people the most, because they're already not receiving a lot of money, and they probably don't have excess savings or different retirement accounts set up like these high income individuals or couples do. So I really think at the end of the day, it's really going to end up hurting those low income folks the most. But the article goes on to say that importantly, the figures above are in current nominal dollars, and they are not being adjusted yet for inflation. So adjusted for inflation, we estimate a typical dual income couple would face a $14,000 cut, while low income couples would face a $8,500 cut, and high income couples would face a $18,500 $500 cut. So obviously, having any cut from the benefits would just be completely devastating. If you ask anyone receiving Social Security benefits at this point in time, no one would say that they're receiving too much money or what they're receiving is enough. Most people are going to be saying that it's not enough. So if we're going to reduce benefits even more, how exactly do you expect these retirees or beneficiaries of Social Security to keep up with the daily standard of life here in the United States, with everything getting a lot more expensive? Rents are going up, homeowners insurance is going up, car insurance is going up, food at the grocery store is going up, gas prices are going up. It's going to be extremely difficult if you're going to expect people to get by and you're going to be taking thousands of dollars per year from their check. Now, thankfully, we do have a few different plans out there. We've heard the plan by Bernie Sanders, which would increase benefits by $200 per month. Then, of course, we had the bipartisan plan by Bill Cassidy and Angus King, where they would take $1.5 trillion and invest that money and hope that it has enough returns to then put that money into the trust fund and make sure that the trust fund is going to be solvent for a longer period of time. But we also have a plan that was recently released and sort of going to the forefront. This is by Sheldon Whitehouse. There would not be any immediate benefit increases, but what they would do is they would tax those once again to the payroll tax of 6.2 to 12.4% going to Social Security, those earning above $400,000 per year. So in this plan, they would make it solvent for at least 75 years, as he mentions. We're going to be watching a clip where he talks about this bill, and then we're going to come back to shortly talk about it.
So we need to solidify these programs. They are within sight of going cash neutral and not being able to fund themselves any longer except with incoming funds. And if so, benefits would have to be cut. That could be as early as 2034, so that's on our horizon, and we need to fix it. Fortunately, there's a very, very easy fix, and it's a very, very fair fix. You take what lower income workers and middle income workers pay into Social Security and Medicare, and you make high income workers pay the same amount. At the moment, it stops a little over $160,000. Now, my bill would honor President Biden's pledge not to raise taxes on anybody over $400,000. But if you're making more than $400,000, that extra income would pay the same payments to Social Security and Medicare as the first $167,000. And a lot of people hide their income so it doesn't come in as wages. It comes through other corporate devices and ways of shunting money to people. This bill would make sure that if it's money that you're getting to live on, you pay the tax on it, whether it comes in as wages or dividends or distributions or borrowing or whatever it is. So we can do this. The Social Security actuary has taken a look at the bill, and it says that it will extend the solvent life of Social Security by 75 years. Well, guess what? 75 years is how far they look. So it may be more than that. They just don't look more than 75 years. And we have the Medicare actuary looking at the bill now to see how long it would extend its solvency. We have enough division in this country without people trying to attack these twin pillars of our economic security. So I'm going to work very hard to try to make sure this bill gets passed.
So again, in this bill by Whitehouse, he would be taxing those individuals earning above $400,000 per year, not just wages, but then other sources of income as well. Like in dividends that you receive, you would have to pay the Social Security payroll tax on that as well. Just for those earning above $400,000 per year, just like those people who have to pay that tax on the first $160,200 that they earn. And as he mentions there, if this bill were to pass, the Social Security Trust Fund would be fully funded for the next 75 years at least, possibly even longer. Now, the problem with this bill, like a lot of other bills, is that we're probably only going to see Democrats get on board with this. Republicans are really not going to be in support of raising taxes on Americans, even though it is going to be those earning above $400,000 that will have to pay more taxes. So at the end of the day, once again, we are going to have to find a bill that is bipartisan to really make sure that the Social Security Trust Fund stays solvent, and then we can continue to pay out full benefits and not have this cut of, say, like $10,000, $15,000, or even $20,000 from their annual benefits. Something definitely needs to be done, but let me know what your thoughts and comments are below on all this. Would definitely love to read them. But that's all the news that we have for today's video. I certainly hope that you enjoyed. If you did, again, I would greatly appreciate if you could give this video a like. Consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already, and I will see you in the next video.